Okay, so this is Likutey halachot. We're on the first halakha, and we're on the sixth section. The first halakha is that when you wake up in the morning, you need to get up like a lion, and you need to awaken the dawn. The dawn should not awaken you, so that you can serve your Creator. So we're going through a beautiful description of what's the essence of this halakha. What does it mean to be strong? It means to overcome your Yetzer Hara. And what's the key to doing that? Awakening the dawn. We know that the dawn, Shachar, is a concept of a morning light that's coming up, but it's surrounded by darkness. Right? So our job is to find the light. It's very easy in our life to see the bad. It's very easy in our life to see the negative. Right? But in order to do tshuva, in order to be close to Hashem, you need to see the good. The good in yourself, the good in other people, the good in situations, right? And through this good that you find, through this you're going to be able to serve Hashem. So this is why it's the first halakha. And now we said in the last section that we did together, now it makes sense why the Ramah brings in his gloss to the Shulchan Aruch, to this first halakha, that Shaviti Hashem Negdi Tamid. Yud Kei Vav Kei is before me always. It's in Tehillim 16. And he says, all the tzaddikim live with this. That Hashem is before me always. So what's the connection between that and getting up in the morning? And the answer is, it's the same concept. Because having Hashem before me always, meaning mamash, I see the good before me always. Through this, I'm going to be close to Hashem. Through this, I'm going to serve Hashem.
How are you?
Good, thank God. How are you?
Good to see you.
You too. Through this, I'm going to serve Hashem. And this is the famous lesson, of Zamra, right? I'm going to sing to Hashem with the good that I have left in me. And we said that this is the key to praying, right? We said, what is the key to prayer? What is the tikkun of tefillah? Why can't I pray with all my heart, with all my soul? Why is Rav Nachman saying that tefillah is going to mamish save your life? It's going to take you out of all your difficulties, all of your troubles and obstacles. Okay, so I pray. I still have my difficulties. I still have my obstacles. Right? Rav Nachman would say it's because you're not praying hard enough yet. So why can't I pray hard enough yet? Why can't I just give everything I got? Like for instance, let's say I said to you, somebody comes to you today and says you have one day to live. But I have a wife and I have kids. No, you have one day left to live. One day left to live. So how hard would you pray after this class was over to Hashem to give you more time? Right? But I'm only 30, I'm only 35, I just started, I didn't even do anything yet. I didn't do my best yet, I have more in me. How much would you cry? How heartfelt would those prayers be? So, the concept of the land of Israel is to pray with all of your koach. Because this land of Israel is what causes miracles in your life. It's this concept of the land of Israel, praying with all your koach, that actually transforms nature. But you can't access this until you pray with everything that you have. And why can't we pray with everything that we have? We said because we don't see the good in our life. Because we hold grudges against our Hashem. Because we feel that there's darkness in our life. Because we feel that Hashem is not just. Even if we don't say it, there's a part of us that is holding on to something that's not feeling that Hashem, that everything He does is good for you. Everything is from Hashem, everything is for the best. And as a result of that, you can't pray with everything that you have. So this is what we said so far. Now, Rav Natan is going to expand on this. He's going to say like this. She'ikar bechina titoru tashena. The essence of waking up from the sleep. Right? He said that this is the concept of birur. Birur. Separating the good from the bad. Right? When you get up from your sleep, you're separating the good from the bad, because sleep is the concept of spiritual darkness. You're waking up from that. And how are you getting up? You have to see the good, right? Even practically, psychologically. When does a person not get up in the morning? When does he stay in his bed? When he sees no good in his life.
Or he goes to sleep late.
Or when he goes to sleep late, right? But in general, what is a depressed person? Someone who doesn't see good. He only sees the negative, so therefore he can't get up from his sleep. So now we're learning that the essence of getting up from sleep, spiritually and physically, is you must... Right, because he doesn't see good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You know everything.
Precious.
The hope that comes from seeing the good, right? A little glimmer of hope, all of a sudden you feel good, right? I'm going through all these difficulties, these challenges in my life, but Rav Arush is coming to town, and he's going to tell me everything is from Hashem, and all of a sudden, I can get up and I can start my day and be excited. Yeah, but nothing changed. You still have the same problems. Right? Your wife still belittles you. Your kids still don't listen to you. You're still poor and you don't have any money. You're still in debt. You still have all these difficulties in your life. So Rav Arush tells you everything's from Hashem. Okay, great. So why is that giving you life force? Because you're seeing the good now. Now that I see the good, I can wake up from my sleep and I can start. So we said that this is the tikkun, the fixing of prayer. And this is the reason we do korbanot. Why? Because when we say korbanot, and we do ketoret, what's this the concept of? So spiritually, Kabbalistically, there are parts of us that are trapped in the klipot. There are parts of us that are called human, spiritually, but they're trapped in the level of behema, animal. So what do? We come to the Beit HaMikdash and we used to slaughter the animal. But we ourselves were supposed to picture that we were being taken place of by the animal.
Korbanot, right?
Yeah, korbanot. So what is deeply going on at this moment? Really, there's a part of you that's fallen to the level of animal. We're slaughtering the animal and we're lifting up the human aspect of it. And this is what korbanot is. Meaning we're taking all of our animalistic desires and we're lifting ourselves up before them. And this is the reason why we need to say korbanot every morning, right? Sephardim hold, you must say korbanot in the morning before you start praying, before you say hodu. What's the reason? What's the reason you have to say korbanot before you could say hodu? Because hodu means thank you. And you can't say thank you until you first lift up the good from the bad. Right? What did we say before? All technology, if you could just put it on silent. Anybody who has their phone on, you can put your phone on silent. I appreciate it. Okay? We said before that you cannot pray until you see the good. What's the concept of seeing the good and lifting it up from the bad? It's called korbanot. That was the essence of those sacrifices that we did. We slaughtered the animal and we lifted up the sparks of goodness that were hidden within them. Now you can say hodu. Now you can pray.
So before that you can't pray?
You can't pray.
Or you could pray, just won't get answered.
Yeah.
So, is this like where Shema starts? Can I start from there, or I have to go before that even? Right before?
No. Just from the actual korbanot, even after the Shema.
I know it's after the Shema.
Yeah.
Like the whole.
Yeah. Just the bare minimum is the korbanot right before.
Which is Shema. It starts from Shema.
It's a little bit after Shema. Yeah.
A little bit after Shema, not before.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying if I start, let's say from Shema.
Shema, you're good.
Good.
You said it. Okay, good. So you're saying the korbanot. Now notice something very interesting. He says like this: there are 11 spices in the korbanot. One of them, according to halakha, if you don't have one of them, you're chayav mitah. You were killed if you didn't do ketoret the right way. And notice, very interestingly, 10 of them smelled amazing. One of them smelled horrible. Yes. It's called helbana. It was very, very disgusting, like gum resin. Okay? It was a resin, you know, like, not that you guys, chas v'shalom, ever smoked marijuana, but you know the resin that's like left after? Yeah. Okay, I see you just woke up. You're not supposed to wake up from the marijuana conversation. You're supposed to wake up from your good point. You're like, so you're telling me this is the grade A?
Burning bush.
What are you asking me? It doesn't say which one was the most pleasant one. Okay. But it says that you need this helbana. What do we learn in the Torah that we're working on right now? When you pray, it's not called a tzibor, a congregation of prayer, unless you have rashayim, unless you have people who are not keeping the mitzvot, praying with you. Right? Seems like a chiddush, but Rav Nachman says it's in the name itself. Tzibur, tzadikim, beinonim, rashayim. It's a group. You don't have rashayim.
When Tanya talks about a benoni, what a benoni is like Remember what did that?
It's a very high level, the Tanya says.
Benoni is like it's what we think is a real tzaddik is a Benoni.
Right.
Which is all of us.
Right.
When not us. Benoni is like
No,
next
you're not in
level.
Russia.
No, it talks about what a Ben. No, it talks
Right,
about
but the Tanya says that our souls are all Benoni souls. We just have to live up to it. So what he says is a Benoni, meaning that's what we should be aspiring to. But your soul is a soul Benoni. And Rav Nachman says, what does this mean in our life? Practically, when I come to pray, I'm the Benoni. Why? Because the Chazal teach that at every moment before you do a mitzvah, you should be thinking to yourself, the world is right in the middle of the scale of merit. Right? Half of the world is doing good, half of the world is not doing good, and therefore I'm going to tip the balance right now, either to the good or to the bad. So that's the concept of Benoni. I'm in the middle. I want to tip it to the good. So when you come to pray, you should not be praying that everything is good in your life. You should be praying with a sense of desperation, that I'm the Benoni. Yeah. Who are the tzaddikim? So we said you attach yourself to those tzaddikim, meaning the tzaddikim who are buried in the ground, the tzaddikim who passed away, and also we said, Kabbalistically, there's parts of you that have already been called tzaddik, right? Parts that you've rectified in past lives. You're connecting yourself to those. So those are the tzaddikim of the tzibur. Then who are the rishayim? We said in this Torah that we're working on Likutey Moharan, it's the evil that's within you. It's your taivas, it's your ego, it's your arrogance, it's your jealousy, it's your greed, it's your taiva for money and for sex and for all these things. That's the rishayim within you. And then you have rishayim mamash that you're praying with. So this is a tzibur. So we see even in the Keturet, you're chayiv mitaf, you don't have rishayim in there. You need to have that foul smelling spice. Why? Because
only one out of the.
I know.
Wow, because it complements the 10.
It complements the 10. Now on its own, it's a terrible smelling spice. But when it's in the context of 10 good smelling spices, now I could see its place. And this is a very deep inyan, this is a very deep concept, no questions right now. This is a very deep concept because why? The bad in our life, when you look at the bad on its own, isolated, so yeah, it's horrible, right? You look at the Holocaust on its own, it's horrible. You look at Chas v'Shalom, someone gets cancer, it's horrible. Someone has a mental health illness or physical health illness, it's bad. You can't say it's good. But when you look at it within the context of history, or let's say from the beginning to the end, and you see Hashem's plan, so now all of a sudden, it's like the bad spice that's within all the good spices, and you see how it has its place. This is why in Pesach, right, we say it's a Seder. Yeah, but there was no Seder to Pesach, it was craziness. It was mamash, it was like insanity, it was like an action movie, right? This, after this, right? They left in in a hurry. Everything was not Peseder, it was the opposite. But when we do Pesach, it's a Seder. So what's the deeper reason? Because now that we can look back and we see how that exile led to our redemption, and now we can see how to get out of our own exile because we went through this, so now we see how it was good for us. But only in retrospect. So this is the concept of the bad smelling spice. So he says like this. We thought that this was the Chiddush of Rav Nachman, that tefillah needs rishayim. You want to know what's amazing? Chazal say this. In the Gemara in Kritot, it says, Kol tefillah she'ein ba mitefilat Poshe Yisrael ein a tefillah. Tefillah that is not with Poshe Yisrael is not tefillah. Chazal say it. It's sinners, but on purpose. They know the halakha and they choose not to keep it. Poshe Yisrael. So this is like the highest level of sin. It says if you're not praying with those people, it's not tefillah. This is what the Gemara says. Kikar tefillah, because the essence of tefillah is ketoret, meaning what? Separating the good from the bad. The Rizal says very clearly that the greatest time to elevate the sparks of godliness that are trapped in the klipot is during tefillah. And he says this is the main reason why when you're learning you can pay attention, but when you start praying all of a sudden you can't pay attention. Why? Because you're trying to elevate sparks of godliness from klipot.
So what's the purpose of the purpose of having let's say a Russia praying with you, so you could lift up his prayers?
Yeah, you lift up his prayers, and we learn from Rav Nachman that the greatest revelation of godliness is when the Rishayim themselves are modeh to Hashem.
Wow. Maybe this is exactly why in all the exiles you need that power, you need that Nebuchadnezzar, you need that one Russia. That if it's not for him, he's not going to give birth to your redemption. You know what I'm saying? Like, there will be no Geula if there was no Paro. Paro gives birth to Geula. He forces you.
So you're saying he's like the Russia that you're praying with? Okay? So yeah, you're lifting up the good in him. Rav Nachman says, Mamash, there's literally a spiritual mechanism that's taking place that when you connect yourself to the Rishayim in the room and you look for the good in them, then when you go to pray, you literally lift up the good that's trapped inside of them. And this is the reason why Rav Nachman says that a Chazan needs to be expert at this. You should not be Chazan unless you're able to look for the good in everybody and everyone around you, because then you're not lifting up everybody's prayers. He says, for the Keturah dimension of prayer is primarily fulfilled by finding and refining good points even in those Rishayim who are represented by the Chelbana. Okay? This is the concept of the 11 spices of the Keturah. The 10 that are outside, 10 is always the concept of Kedusha. 10 is always the concept of holiness or godliness, right? This is the concept of the 10 types of song, right? We know that in Tehillim there's 10 types of song. So whenever there's Kedusha, there's 10. I remember there's a guy who came to Lubavitcher Rebbe. He wrote a whole book about all the different forms of Hasidic masters and all the forms of Hasidism. And he named it like 10 and a quarter like Hasidic master, something like that. And Lubavitcher Rebbe told him, you should change the name. What should I call it? 10. Call it 10. He didn't take his advice, but he did write in the book that the Lubavitcher Rebbe told me to do this. Why? Because 10 is the concept of good. 10 is the concept of matzliach. You have 10, it works. Right? What happens when you have 10 Jewish men, no matter where you're holding? The Shekhinah is there.
Just like the spheres, there's 10 spheres.
That's right.
You mean 10 in Hebrew, right?
Yes. The Shekhinah is there. Okay? Therefore, we want to refine the good in these Jewish sinners, which is the concept of the Chelbana. Okay? So now, with that being said, we're going to move back into the Torah that we're working on, which is a very, very deep Torah. It's a long Torah. We've been working on it a while, but it's very connected to what we're saying right now. So, what's that? Yes, we're going to do a little recap right now, and then we're going to move forward with it. So you need to pay attention because there's a lot of this is like a web, okay? This is 55. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies in this web, and we need to first understand everything that we covered so that we're building off of it. It's like a ladder, okay? So I'll give you a quick recap, and then we'll move forward. We said like this: every one of us has difficulties, challenges, obstacles in our life, whether they are outside of us, right, external to us, whether they're inside of us, right, anger, sadness, fears, right, whatever our difficulties, every one of us has skeletons in our closet. Is there a way that we can mamash get rid of them? Not just I'm putting it at bay, right? Not just I get anger, so what do? I go to the gym and I work out for an hour and now I feel better after that. No, I mamash get rid of my anger. I don't even need the gym to feel better. That I just feel good. Can I be happy all the time? The answer is yes. So Rav Nachman says, how do you attain this? He says, only through the land of Israel. The land of Israel. So, not just the physical land, but the essence of the land. The essence of the land. The holiness of the land. But that holiness is now in exile. Right? How do we bring out the holiness of the land of Israel, and through that holiness to destroy all the negativity in my life? Only through the Avot. Only through the fathers. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And how do we awaken their merit for us so that we can destroy the evil in our life? We didn't say yet. However, in order to start this process, it starts with one thing: to judge favorably. Judge myself favorably. Judge those around me favorably. See the good in everybody. Why? Because as a result of that, you're going to be able to see that Hashem is good. And because you're going to be able to see that Hashem is good, you're going to be able to pray now. Because up until this point, there is a pagam in your tefillah. You can't pray with all your koach, with all your energy, right? You may go to do it in the woods, but you don't have words coming out of your mouth. Or even if you do, they're lame, right? You don't have all your energy. You don't have all your koach. Right? You had more koach yelling at your wife yesterday than you ever had in your tefillah. Has v'shalom, but I'm just saying, right? You got into a fight with your dad. How come you don't love me? You know? You got this whole thing, you scream. I never had a prayer where I just talked to like a friend like this. How come I can't open my mouth? The answer is, there is a part of your eyesight that's blemished. You don't see that Hashem is good and that everything comes from Hashem. If you saw that mamash, not a leaf turns, right? That your foot doesn't take a step unless Hashem says, Benny's foot takes a step. Benny's foot takes another step. Right? Unless you really chap that this is the reality, that nothing happens unless Hashem wants it to. Nothing. I'm reading in Reshit Chochmah, the book of Musar. It says that in every air molecule there is the name Yud Kei Vav Kei.
Maybe air molecule.
Yeah. Everywhere. And every time that it's alive or it's in existence, Yud Kei Vav Kei is like shining off. It's illuminating. Boom, 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 boom. Every moment. So therefore, if something doesn't have this illumination of Yud Kei Vav Kei at any moment, it stops existing. So imagine, Hashem is doing this at every moment, all over the universe. Right? And that's just in this universe. The Midrash explains that there are thousands, millions, trillions of universes, all double, triple, quadruple the size of our universe.
Living beings?
With everything that we have, but on a higher level of reality. Not physical. But there is existence. And the higher up you go, the more spiritual reality. It's a spiritual reality. But the spiritual reality is even bigger than this whole physical universe. And the higher you go, the bigger those universes get. And in every single place, it says there in Reshit Chochmah, nothing happens unless Hashem wants it to. Nothing.
Yeah, that's why Hashem showed us every universe that He's filled in. Right?
Yeah.
And from that we like trip out.
Yeah, that was what the Zohar says, exactly. Yeah, the Zohar says that what is it that made us like kind of like we just like couldn't experience God anymore after the two mitzvot. It was too much for us. So the Zohar says that He showed us every world, meaning all the spiritual worlds that are existing concurrently with this one, and how Hashem was the cause of everything that happened at every single level, and everything only happened when Hashem wanted it to, at all of it. And they're like, and they just like all exploded. They couldn't take it, and they blew out of their bodies. And they said to Moshe, "We're good. We thought we wanted God. It's a little too much for us, you know." Right? It's like the guy who comes in with his shirt, like Havdalah, right? And it's like just a little bit too high, you know, you're showing a little bit too much of your stomach over there to be close for comfort for us. Couldn't take it. It was too intense for them. They said, Moshe, we need you to give it to us. Cover it up a little bit more. Okay?
How was Moshe able to take it?
Because Moshe was so nothing that he could hold it. The more that you're not something, the more you can hold nothing.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Any ego.
Any ego? Yeah, the more ego you have, the less you're able to experience God in your life. Okay. So this is what we've done together so far. And we said like this. We said that the concept of the paraduma is the concept of perfected prayer. This is the reason why in the end Mashiach has the paraduma, because they're both the concept of perfected prayer. What do? They purify all the negativity. They get rid of all the bad in your life. So this paraduma, we learn that halachically there's many steps in the paraduma. Right? You have to slaughter it. You have to burn it. You have to gather the ashes. Right? You have to put, what we're going to learn now, you have to put cedar wood and hyssop, and you need to put... and you need to put the tolat worm. You need to put those three things together in with the whole concoction. So we're going to learn that all these different elements are different parts of perfected prayer. We said before...
What we talking? What was that just now?
Everything I just said, or which part?
The worm and...
Right, so we're going to learn today that there's three things that we needed to add to the mixture of the paraduma after it was burnt. We needed to then add, so to speak, like a little... We took like a stick, a little cedar wood. We took a little bit of hyssop. It's like zatar. Put it together. And then we wrapped around it like some scarlet wool that came from a worm. That's where they came from. And then we threw it in there. It's like some hispandut stuff you guys are into. Okay? put it in there, and all of a sudden, it's this whole concoction that purifies tumat mit, right? It gets rid of all negativity in the world, okay? So now we're seeing that really this whole thing is prayer. So we're going to find out that these three things have to do with our prayer. What are these three things? So he says like this. There's three sounds that we need to rectify with our prayer. First sound comes from Kohelet. Kol kasil berov devarim. It says the voice of fools berov devarim. It's filled with many matters. What does that mean? We're going to see in a second. What's the second voice? Kol anot, the voice of song. Anochi shomea. I hear the voice of song. We have to fix this voice also. What's the last voice we have to fix? Kol hayom kilamati. All day I'm being humiliated. All day I'm being humiliated. Have any of you recently...
Can you repeat the third one?
The third voice that you have to fix in order to have perfected prayer is the concept of humiliation. You need to experience humiliation in your life.
Humiliation.
Yeah? From others, and you need to use that to pray. It's really to help fix your... Yeah. It's really... I have to before, yeah.
Parents humiliate you and then you become
No,
better.
it's like, why I'm saying is because I'm like living the Torah.
Yeah. On the highest... Again, we have three levels. We haven't said what they are yet. First level is we need to rectify the sound of the fool. He speaks many matters. We're going to have to see what that is.
The fool that speaks many matters.
Yeah, fool is someone who speaks about many matters. We're going to see what that is. Second, you have the voice of the song, I hear it, meaning Hashem hears it. So we have to rectify this also. We're going to have to find out what that is. Third, last one is the sound of humiliation. We need to rectify these three sounds in order to have our prayers reach the level of Eretz Yisrael and have everything be nullified in our life that we don't want.
We elaborate on these?
Yes, we got it. You got it. One of them is actually the reason why I told you got to come to the classes. Remember when I saw you in the mikveh? So this is the part I was up to. Bechinat eitz erez, we have the concept of the wood, the cedar wood. We have ezov, which is like the zatar, right? And then we have shni tola'at, scarlet wool.
Shani.
Yes, shani.
Shani, oh yeah.
It says shni here. Okay. I'll take your word for it. You are an expert.
Oh.
Yes.
No, this is the special Tolat.
Yes.
Tolat Shani, that she's going to some special places. No.
What type of place is she going to? What is this?
Like she's going.
She's going in. She's going in. Okay, we're also going to go in a second. You ready? What's the concept of cedar wood? Kol kasil berov devarim. The fool, he speaks many matters. Berov hanhagot ve'emunot kozvot. Meaning, what is the concept of someone who's wise? Someone whose mind has boundaries. Right? Rav Nachman says, wisdom that has no boundaries is not called wisdom, it's called imagination. It's called foolishness. It's very deep. Meaning what? Let's say, for instance, after class, I steal all your money. Okay, I'm doing that anyway, in a more covert way. But let's say I did it obviously. I just mamish went into your pocket, stole all your money. So what does Rav Arush say? At that very moment, you need to first, before you even start thinking, before you start using your brain, everything is from Hashem. Everything is for the best. Everything is for me to come close to Hashem. Rav Arush says, if you don't say that before you start thinking, you are going to think something that's not true.
It's going to come from tomorrow?
It's going to come from... It's not real. Right? What are you going to say? Wow, this rabbi, all rabbis, they're all out for money. That's all they really want. It's all BS. You go into a whole train of devolving, right? You're just... What is all that? It's all based on a lie that somebody can do something to you without Hashem wanting them to.
Somebody's tomorrow.
Well, I'm saying it's all right. So you first have to have in your mind, everything is from Hashem, everything is from me, everything is to come close to Hashem. Now you can start thinking. Why? Because these are the boundaries of the mind. These are the boundaries that you need to create for yourself before you start thinking. Right? Your wife yells at you, you have a difficulty. That's reality. If
anything other than that is only imagination.
Yes, it's the power of your imagination. Right? You come home, all of a sudden your wife gives you a hard time, you're not helping with this, you're not helping with that. but really you are helping her with this, you are helping her with that, so you don't understand why she's giving you such a difficult time.
You still like feel weird if you know it's from Hashem.
So then you may know in your head, but you don't know in your heart. And we're gonna talk now about how to get into your heart, okay? But we're saying that foolishness doesn't mean I'm not smart. Foolishness can actually be intelligence that moves beyond the boundaries of Emunah. That's what foolishness is.
Beyond the boundaries of Emunah, how's that possible?
So I'm explaining. Emunah is everything is from Hashem. If I start thinking thoughts that are outside of that boundary, this person did this to me, that's called foolishness according to Rav
It's not
Nachman.
him who did it, it's Hashem who did it.
Right. What I'm saying is you went beyond the boundary. You can't move beyond the boundary, otherwise you went out. Let's say for instance, let's call the ocean Emunah. Let's say that this is real wisdom. So you have to stay in the ocean to be part of the wisdom there. If you go onto the shore, you're no longer in the ocean. So too, Emunah is like the ocean. We want to constantly be swimming in this ocean, and if you don't, you die, right? Because we're like fish. So Jews need to be in the ocean of Emunah. As soon as you leave that ocean, you're suffering tremendously. So what do? We have to have these limits on our head. Everything is from Hashem. Everything is for me to come closer to Him. X, Y, and Z. These are the boundaries of the ocean. This keeps you in the ocean. You move beyond these, you're no longer in the ocean. It's no longer called wisdom. So he says, so the sound of the fool is one who has too many devarim. He has too many matters going on in his head. Meaning, he believes in many things.
He believes in many things.
Yes. So, the simple explanation is he believes, let's say, in magic, he believes in false beliefs, he believes in false practices, right? This is like the simple understanding. He believes in some power besides Hashem's power. But I would say even deeper and more practical than that. Anytime you think anything is something other than Hashem, it's too many. You have too many thoughts going on. It's excess. You have too many
thoughts.
Yeah, too many extra thoughts and too many beliefs.
Yeah, but you can't control it sometimes when it comes.
So it's not about what comes. It's about.
It's simple. It's from Hashem. That's it.
It's not about what comes. It's about what you do with what comes. How do you respond to what comes?
What's happening when you try to dissect why this happening?
Saying that to yourself.
From Hashem.
Saying it to yourself.
Also, just that whole world, it's like, imagine a person gets a ticket, right? And then he has all these cheshbonot, why I had this ticket. You know, the job is
Right, so what's
you
the...
just simply say, I got this ticket,
Because
Hashem
Hashem
wanted me to get it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
right. So
Period.
again, so this is what Shlomo Melech says.
Simple.
Kol kasil barov devarim. The voice of the fool believes in many things. Meaning, even if you believe in two things, it's too many. I believe in Hashem, but I believe I speeded and therefore I got a ticket. Yeah, but how many times did you speed you didn't get a ticket? Okay, so it's obvious that it's not like a math problem. I speed and therefore I get a ticket. It's that I speed and then Hashem wants me to get caught this time. So Hashem caused me to get the ticket. Once you think to yourself, there's any other influence or power at play, this is called too many beliefs, this is called foolishness. This is one sound that we need to rectify with our prayer. You understand? One sound. Meaning, how do I get rid of that voice? How do I get rid of the too many voices? How do I get rid of the too many beliefs? Only through tefillah. Hibodedut. Only through hibodedut. As long as you're not doing hibodedut every day, you're going to be the fool that has multiple beliefs. Multiple beliefs. This is like it says,
When you go talk to Hashem.
Darche Emore. These are the aspect of the ways of the Amorites. Who are the Amorites? We said this is the whole reason for the mitzvah not to follow their superstitions. By the way, are you related to David Elias or you just look a lot like him? You're not related to him. What? Maybe he looks like you. Okay. Well, no.
He's definitely not as good looking as
No. He's like David Elias, like meets Triple H. Okay. So like this. The ways of the Amorites. We have a mitzvah in Vayikra. We cannot do what they do. We can't believe like they believe. What did the Amorites believe in? They believed in magic. So therefore that's the source for the mitzvah. You're not allowed to believe in magic. You're not to be like the Amorites. Why? Because they have many beliefs. Right? And the pasuk says in Proverbs, Pati yamin lechol davar. A fool believes everything.
Is that a good thing though? Because
No.
eventually he'll believe the truth.
So Rav Nachman says that, but he's not speaking about this type of thing. He's speaking about something else. Here he's saying the fool, he believes the chol davar in every matter, meaning every matter has its own koach.
Every matter has its own koach.
Yeah.
Its own
Power, its own ability to.
Where's he getting this power from? Hashem.
Yeah, so why'd you get angry recently? Why'd you get sad recently? Nothing to be angry about, nothing to be sad about. So obviously it's not so easy to just hop this. You can't just say it, right? It's hard.
They have actual things that perform miracles like mamish.
Right? Everybody can come out of the class and say everything is from Hashem. Yeah, but you're still sad, you're still angry, you're still jealous, you're still lazy. So why? Because it's not in your heart. It's just in your head.
Can it be that you given it power?
That's exactly what's happening. But how do you fix it? Only through tefillah. That's what Rav Nachman says. This is the first sound that needs to get fixed for you to get tefillah, mamish, Eretz Yisrael status, that you can transform all the negativity to good in your life. Okay. And there's a pasuk, it says, this is the concept of cedar. Why is this the concept of cedar wood? Va'anochi hishmadti et ha'amori asher kevoha arzim gevoho. Because these Amorites says, don't be like them. What were they? They were very tall. And they were compared to cedar wood. So that's why we have to throw the cedar wood in the fire. Because we're not supposed to be like the Amorites who believed in many things. That's the concept of the cedar tree. Okay, we need to not have side commentary on the... Okay? No matter how sweet your chidushim are, we need to keep it silencio.
I like his commentary.
Yes, they're very good. One day, Bezrat Hashem, he's going to have a peirush, okay? Now listen to what he says here. Please do not kill the messenger. I remember the first time I read this, I was like, whoa. I don't even know what to make of this. We're going to have to try to explain it a little bit, but just try to follow with me. Don't get angry at me. I think everybody in the table is like pretty much good. Some of us maybe are going to have a little more difficulty with it. Says like this. V'hagavoh koma. Because of their height, al pi harov hein kasilim. What does it say here? Because of their height, tall people are usually not smart.
Mike, I think he's very smart.
Get let's go!
Tall people are very smart.
Maybe by tall they mean ego?
No. So that's a peirush, okay? We don't want a peirush right now. Very good. So Rav Kramer says he thinks he's speaking about mamash, like they have giant syndrome, like they're like 7 foot, 8 foot. He's saying.
Look at Shaq.
I understand. Okay, so yes, he was very tall. So 1 second. So Rav Kramer seems to think that he's speaking the Amorites when mamash they were like giants. They were not just like tall, like 6 foot, which is like huge for a Jew, but like average size for a non-Jew. But he's speaking more about mamash giants. And he says none of them are smart. They're all fools. So he's going to say, why is that? Al pi harov hein kasilim. Because why?
They're become a basketball player.
Yeah, you ever see Shaq? Sorry. That's exactly what he sounds like. If anyone do impression, right? No? Okay. Okay, wait. It says like this. Yeah. Okay. Ha'ashanim ha'olim mechala ma'alev elamoch. Why is this? Because spiritually, you have a heart and you have a mind, right? You have a heart and you have a brain. So spiritually, there's something that takes place where the vapors in your heart have to ascend to your mind. So Rav Nachman says, because they're so tall, there's a big distance between their heart and their mind, and therefore by the time those vapors reach the mind, they already have diminished in their intensity, and therefore they can't come to intelligent thoughts. This is what he says.
I think taller people are much nicer than shorter people.
It's a long connection.
You want to do the whole thing?
That's true.
They're not smart, but they're nicer.
They say that smaller people talk a lot.
Okay. Let's not go into a whole, let's not spiral out on this one. I'm just telling you what he says, okay?
Look at Levi, he's the sweetest guy I know.
Yes. Hashanim, why? Because these vapors, ha'elu nechlashim, they weaken. Barova derech, because of the long journey that they have to go from the heart to the mind. Bechamat gavoa kumata, because of his height. Ve'enam bichaltam li'tavot mehem achshavot sichliot, and he's not able to have intelligent thoughts as a result. Mechamat zeh, and because of this, he's a fool. And that's why they said, don't follow the ways of the Amorites, because the Amorites, who were all giants, they were all foolish. Because they were all giants, they were all foolish. That's why it says, don't follow the ways of the Amorites. What's the way of the Amorites? To have a lot of space between the heart and the head.
Were they the...
One second. Shehein lahem shum seichel, because they don't have seichel, they don't have intelligence. Ki geboha arazim geboha, because they are tall like the cedar wood. And because of this, their emunah is many. So this is the essence of it. What's the connection between all of this? Again, he's not saying that to be unintelligent means you don't know Webster's dictionary. To be unintelligent means that your mind is not in the realm of emunah.
Yeah, but you think it's you and not God.
Right. Or you think it's something and not God. So meaning like this, he's saying that the greatest wisdom is faith. So once your mind moves beyond faith, that's called foolishness. So he's saying that these giants, they're foolish. What does it mean? Because of their height, right? Because of their height, the vapors of the heart don't go to the head, meaning that they don't have a emunah in just Hashem. They have a emunah in many things. They have a emunah in doctors. They have a emunah in their boss. Right, in their jobs. They believe that their parnas is only going to come this way. They believe they're only going to get a shidduch if they become friends with this guy who's got the hot sister, right? So they think to themselves, I'm not going to make this thing happen unless I pull some strings, right? It says in Reshit Chochmah, there's a concept of like trying to make things happen with people. It's a begam in your emunah, right? I'm going to people and I'm trying to like appease them, pucker up to them.
I think that's because of that I'm gonna get.
Yeah, let me gel my hair a certain way and put my shirt a certain way. Yeah. Why am I doing this? Because I think this is my in. This guy's my in. This is my in to get into a good situation, right? I'm gonna bandwagon on this guy, make him feel like I'm his friend, really, because I want his parnasa. So this is all begam and emunah, meaning you believe in Hashem, but you also believe in this guy. As soon as your belief is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, you're called Amorites. Don't follow the way of the Amorites, they're fools. Okay.
Isn't there a saying to win the lottery you have to buy a ticket?
Yeah, I don't do that in the Torah anywhere.
But you gotta work for it. That doesn't mean you have to suck up. You gotta do it.
And what's your part?
He's talking about
No, I didn't say what's your point. I said what's your part?
I feel like whatever you're saying is kind of bad idea.
What? Okay, first of all, we have to get to the essence of what this idea is. You heard this idea from where?
I don't know. I feel like
It's a reality. It's just a reality. Everybody knows it's reality. According to the Torah, it's called sheker, a lie. Yes, for non-Jews, it's a reality. I have to go get it done. According to the Torah, this is all based on I think I run my life, which is complete sheker.
So pursuing a financial well-being is...
You should pursue it, but how do you do it? I'm pursuing it knowing that the source of my money is Hashem. Right? I'm going to do my best with that in mind. Meaning, for instance, if I know that my boss is Hashem, I'm going to spend not the half an hour sucking up to this guy, I'm going to spend that half an hour doing Yibo to do it. Right? It's that simple. It's not complicated. Your hishtadlut is with Hashem. All that effort that I would be putting into this thing, I'm going to put it over here instead.
You said it best last time. People ask how much Ishadlut am I supposed to give, right?
Yeah.
So it says the more you believe in Hashem, the less you have to do. The less you believe in Hashem, the more you have to do.
Right. So the more you believe, the more intelligent you are, according to Rav Nachman. The less you believe, the more foolish you are. And the more you have to do hishtadlut in all these different areas to get done what you need to get done.
Is that because emunah is an infinite knowledge as opposed to not having emunah is a limited knowledge?
Beautiful. Very good, Benny. I love it. Very nice. Okay.
Also add over here what you said last time about
What was last time? What happened to me last time? I was so good last time. Yeah.
that you should try to make the most money possible. So
Yes.
you have the most like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you should know. I'm not a socialist. Okay. I don't think you should stop trying to make money. But the question you need to ask yourself is, why do I want to make my money? Right? Yeah. So Rav Nachman says to use the money to come close to Hashem. If that's the reason, so actually the next Torah that we're going to do, which Benjamin's wanted to do for a long time, is the Torah of Nachman says that there are certain there are certain levels of Torah which cannot be revealed to a person unless he has wealth. Okay? So we're going to get there when we get there. So you could take this Torah and turn it into a prayer. Hashem, I just learned that Rav Nachman says, I can only get the greatest revelation of you if I am wealthy. Hashem, help me to be wealthy so that I can know you the greatest way possible, right? So this is a great prayer. That's a great prayer. Hashem likes that prayer, and it's the truth. That's why it's good. But if I'm trying to make money just so I can live a lavish lifestyle and wear brand name clothes and have my lazy boy couch, right? So, chas v'shalom. There's a better couch out there, not the lazy boy couch, okay? Chas v'shalom. I don't know about those lazy boy couches. I know you're having a hard time with it.
No, I'm not having a hard time. I get it.
You get it.
It's just, to some extent, people might take the total opposite understanding of it and handicap themselves.
So we don't want to do that. No handicapping. The answer, the question is not, do I work less? You have to work hard. Right? The Torah says you have to work hard. It's not a matter of, can I not work hard? No. The question is, what am I working hard in? I can either work hard in truth, meaning I'm going to work hard with the boss of bosses, or I'm going to work hard with the person who I think is the boss, who's really not my boss.
Working is unavoidable. 100% true.
That's it. Okay, thank you.
Nobody likes to suck up anyway.
Yeah, nobody likes those guys anyway. By the way, you know what's interesting? Your brother also has a hard time with this. Okay. We'll have to speak to your parents about all this. So he says like this. Second. So we see that in order to get our prayers answered, we have to rectify the tall man inside of us. We need to get rid of him. Okay.
So the tall man is a spiritual concept, not a physical concept.
Yeah. I mean, apparently you can't take away the practical meaning of it. Probably simply he means giants, and really when you do see giants, they don't seem that smart. Okay.
I think you're talking about people over 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You're not 6'4".
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Speaking for Levi.
Yeah.
Just made it.
Yeah. Okay. Yalfi, this is
I have a
good.
friend who's 6'4".
Okay, very good. And how is he? He's smart?
He's a smart boy, but he's too smart for his own good.
Okay, so that's what he's talking about. Foolish. There you go. Okay. Okay.
So he's foolish.
Okay. So that's the height. But we don't have to just get rid of the tall guy.
Really short guy.
Ukatani koma. There's also a short guy we have to get rid of, Rav Nachman says. What's the issue with the short guy? The opposite. Sha'ashanim shelahem nitpashim etev. His heart is very close to his mind. His heart is very close to his mind. Those vapors are moving up to his mind. He has very good thoughts. He's a genius because he's so short. However, his wisdom is greater than his actions.
But he talks too much.
He's learning a lot of Torah, but he's not able to actually change his life as a result, right? He's still getting angry, he's still getting sad, he's still getting jealous, he still can't control his temper. Why? Because he has too much wisdom, but it's not being translated and he doesn't have a vessel for it. So this is concept of the short man. If you find that you're learning Torah and you're doing it every day and you're increasing in it and all these things, and yet it's not translating to I'm changing, because you still have not rectified the short man inside of you. He's too wise for your own good. Like it says in Pirkei Avot, Kol shehochmato meruba ma'asav. All of those whose wisdom is greater than his deeds, not good. Ayedeze, and through this, kemachshama sichliot, his wise thoughts, chozeret elibam, they return to his heart. In koach belibam, but his heart has no strength. His heart has no strength. La'akil et haseichel, to hold the wisdom. So he's learning all this Torah, but he's never worked on his heart. So because he hasn't worked on his heart cannot be a vessel for his mind. Kikar chizuk alev, because the essence of the strengthening of the heart, which holds the mind, which allows you to live and change your life according to what you know, hu ayedei masim tovim. The essence of it is the good actions that you do. Meaning, simply, the mind is built up with truth, with Torah, with Da'at, with God consciousness. However, you have another thing that's just as important as your mind, and that's your heart. Your heart is the vessel for your mind, and your heart is what you change, right?
The heart is the vessel of the mind?
Yeah, the heart. No. The heart is the vehicle of the mind. So therefore, if you're still getting angry, or you're still getting sad, or you're still getting jealous, right? Your Torah that you're learning is not translating to your actual life. What's the reason? It's because your mind is filled with da'at, but your heart is not. Because your heart is only rectified through action. It's not rectified through the mind. Yes.
We learned that it was from secular wisdom.
Yes. Okay, so da'at is God consciousness. Like for instance, everything that we learn in this class is called da'at. However, you're not going to be able to take this and it's going to translate automatically to now I'm living with it. You have to first turn your Torah into tefillah, because tefillah's concept masim tovim.
Tefillah, what, like prayers?
Hibodedut.
So that's what this mechanism is?
Yes.
The Torah and the heart would be the shore, which is tefillah?
I guess, yeah. So what are we saying? Very simply, guys, follow with me. We need to rectify the tall man within us. He's the one who has too many beliefs. He doesn't just believe in Hashem. You rectify that only through hibodedut. Then we have another that you can only rectify through hibodedut, which is, it's not enough to learn Torah. You have to turn that Torah into action.
That's what it's called, midon.
What's the main action? Tefillah. So tefillah only through hibodedut, and I'm able to actually matakin my anger and my sadness and my frustration, my lack of patience, my jealousy, my stress, my lack of yishuv da'at. All these things are only going to go through hibodedut. You can't do it by learning. Okay?
But you need the learning.
But you need the learning, yeah. You need the learning to know what to pray for.
Meaning you need truth in order to...
Yeah, yes. That's why it says in Mishlei, Liknot chokhmah v'leiv ayin. Will he purchase wisdom, but the heart is lacking? Meaning Shlomo Melech is saying it's not a good idea. It's not going to help you if you go learn. In fact, that is the Torah of death, right? The Gemara says the Torah can either be a spice of life or a spice of death. When is it a spice of life? It's a spice of life when you've worked on your heart as well. But when you have not worked on your heart, and you're just taking in knowledge, so really you're actually causing damage to yourself, because your mind is overpowering your heart, and the more that you're filling up the mind and the less that you're filling up your heart, the more the anger is going to come out, the more the sadness is going to come out, all these things.
This is the concept of Torah.
And through this and through this wisdom, they actually cause others to sin. And this is the concept of philosophers, right? They have a lot of knowledge, but
they rape little boys.
Right, but they rape little boys. No, that's exactly what he says. You know, it's very interesting. It's a very big chap, he says here. The hain lamb, they don't have a lev tov, they don't have a good heart. It's not pure. Right? It's not just that they're into philosophy. They're into philosophy because they're not doing good things.
It's like a cover-up for them.
It's like they're so to speak, they're blemishing their vessel for receiving, and then they can only receive philosophy. Right? The atheist is not the atheist because he just doesn't believe in God. It's because he's into sexual immoral things. And because of that...
Is that him as a person though?
No, it doesn't mean that him in his essence, he's like that. No, he could be a great person.
So you're saying it's because of his knowledge that he became like this?
No.
Maybe this is psychological. What's wrong with him?
No. He's saying like this. Listen. It says, there's a pasuk in Tehillim. Guys, don't get excited. 1 second. It says, Belibi tzafanti imratecha. I have stored your word in my heart. Lema'an lo echetalach, and through this I'm not going to sin. Meaning the essence of not sinning, of being good, is that the word is in the heart, not in the mind. And as a result of a person's intelligence, that it's too much, meaning it's in the mind but it's not in his heart, he's learning but he's not doing hibodedut. So this is the primary cause of himself sinning and the cause of others sinning. Meaning, he seems to be saying like you're almost setting yourself up to do averas by learning without praying.
Oh, and that's why when he teaches that Torah, they kind of like copy his ideology and become the same way.
Yeah. So I had a thought in my mind. You'll notice something very interesting. It says about the Nachash, what's the first thing it says? It says that he's cunning. It's cunning. Shh, everybody focus. The Nachash is cunning. What does cunning mean? It manipulates. This whole thing is to manipulate. Right? He's not simple. He's not simple. His whole thing is to get you not to be simple. Why? Because if you just thought everything is from Hashem, everything is I can be easy. Everything is easy. No matter what's happening, everything is good. So what's the Nachash's main thing?
It can't be that easy.
It can't be that easy. You have to be cunning. You have to be sophisticated in your thinking. This is why Rav Nachman is the whole thing is about the simpleton versus the sophisticate. The simpleton versus the sophisticate. To be simple doesn't mean to be dumb. It actually means to be smart. The sophisticated one.
Hashem is simple. Hashem.
Yes, I say this all the time. Hashem is simple. We learn it from Hashem. Hashem is very simple. Right? He's just dancing and singing and everything is good for Hashem. He's like, nach. Okay. You'll notice though that the less a person has purified himself, the less simple his thoughts are. Yes, the less pure he is, the less simple his thoughts are. What's the reason for this?
It's a heart just floods him with just all this.
So listen to what it says here. This is the concept of Azov, right? We said that we have the concept of cedar wood, right? That's the concept of the tall man, meaning the one who believes in too many things. Now we have the concept of the philosopher inside of us, the cunning one, the one who is the one who is into manipulation of the mind, right? This is the concept of Azov, the Zatar. Why? Because it says Azov hayotze bakir. This Zatar, it emerges from the wall, guys. Benny. It emerges from the wall, meaning what? Zebechinat katane koma is the concept of the small man, as opposed to the cedar wood, which is very large. The Zatar plant is very small. This is the concept of the Balei Seichel, the masters of the mind. Aval halev eno yachol atzbin koach. However, their hearts do not have the koach to hold it in their mind. Ki libam chalash vaser, because their heart is lacking and it's weak. Ubifrat, and specifically, who is the greatest concept of this? Who is the one who's the most at risk? Right? They say these people are at risk. These kids are at risk. Who is at risk of being a philosopher? Those who into ni'uf, into sexual immorality.
Like intersexual?
Into sexual immorality. Now I noticed something very interesting.
That all gays are liberals?
Yes, that's actually what I was going to say. Yeah, not exactly like that, but something similar to that. You'll notice in Israel, there are people there, right, who are more left-wing, let's say. And they're very smart. If you speak to them, mamash will feel intimidated by their intelligence. They're very, very smart. They're also going and spending a lot of time in their gay parades.
I swear to God.
Right? They very much believe in the concept of everything goes, and they want to build up and they want to crown sexuality. Right? They want to make sexuality king. And at the same time, they also happen to want to give away the land to the Arabs. Why? Because they say, well, we're occupying their land. This isn't the right thing to do. And they mean it. They're not coming from a bad place. Where are those thoughts coming from? It's called the philosopher. Yeah, but this guy wants to kill you. Why can't they see that? The answer is because of the sexual immorality. It's a very deep thing.
Sexual immorality than
No, it's not that they'd rather have it. It's that because they're involved in sexual immorality, they're not able to think clearly. They don't have a mind to be able to have da'at. They can't.
because they're wasting it.
Yes.
What about all the Jews who waste but are like conservative?
I didn't mean literally mamash. I'm just trying to give an example. It's just an interesting thing. It happens to be that one of the main facets of liberalism is sexual immorality, and at the same time, they're very, very intelligent, right? If you go to UCLA, you go to school there, everybody's liberal. They're mamish geniuses. They're very smart, and they don't know anything.
It's not to a level.
Because what happens is intelligence is it's not rooted in...
Because they think that it's them and not Hashem, that's why.
No, it's deeper than that. Because they are wasting seed. So what happens is your seed is very connected to your mind.
It is your mind.
It is your mind. So when you waste seed, your mind literally leaves you. You're not able to think clearly. This guy says, I want to kill all the Jews. How come you're not giving him the land? Give him the land. What are you doing? I'm going to bomb all of them. My plan is to kill all of them. Yeah, but just give him the land. Everything's going to be fine. What are you talking about? This guy is a mass murderer. Why can't he think like that? Why can't he chop it? Because he just spent a few minutes at the...
in the bathroom.
Yes, in the bathroom with random X, Y, and Z. Enter. Yeah. Okay.
Whenever they come out with a new thing, it's always it's always like something outrageous.
Yes.
It's always like, how could you, like...
It's like there was a thing that they said if Trump figures out how to cure cancer, they're going to be focusing on that. Why didn't Trump go to medical school? He can't be talking about cancer because he's not a doctor.
Right, whatever it is.
Controlled by Yitzhak.
Yes. Okay. So he says like this. We also have to get rid of this heart because it says, No'ef isha chasar lev. In Mishlei it says, those who are into niyuf, one guilty of idolatry, chasar lev. His heart is lacking. So what does it mean the heart is lacking? Meaning it's lacking of good. And because your heart is lacking of good, it's not strong enough to hold your mind. It's amazing, no? The Ezov ayotze bakir, and that's what it means that the Ezov, the Hisop, right? The Zatar is coming from the wall, meaning the walls of your heart.
What's a zatar?
It's like that greenish herb that's on the hummus that they have in Israel. They use it and all this stuff, but they used to use it a lot. You weren't able, like for instance, they used to take that Zatar, they used to put it in combination and make cleaners out of it. And they used to clean only the most holy places with the Zatar, because it has a deep ability to purify. What's this whole thing here? So, to purify from sexual immorality. Because the mind that goes out from the walls of the heart, meaning the heart is not strong enough to hold what's in the mind. For this reason, what's in their mind is actually a danger to them. Right? You have to rectify that as well. How do you rectify the heart from all of its lackings? Also sexual.
Pour your heart out.
You just need to pour your heart out to Hashem. Pour your heart out to Hashem. Okay, what's the last sound that we have to rectify? What's the last sound we have to rectify?
Humility.
Right, the last one, humiliation. Very good. What's that? Kol anot anochi shomea chirufim v'guftin. Okay, it says like this. 1 second. Ushni tola'at. It says scarlet wool. Scarlet wool. Zeh bechinat kol shlishi. This is the third sound. Sheyesh la'adam biznionot v'charafot misonim. It's the sound of humiliation and vilification a person receives from others. Kol hayom kilamti negdi. I have the voice of humiliation. It's constantly against me. Every day someone is embarrassing me. Uvoshet panai kisanti. The shame of my face covers me. Mikol mecherech umigadef. From the person who's vilifying me, from blaspheming me. This is tola'at. This is the concept of the worm, that we need to rectify this as well. This is also the last thing that we need to rectify before all our prayers get answered. The anochi tola'at. This is why David HaMelech said, I'm like a worm. V'lo ish cherpat adam uvazuyam. I'm vilified by men and humiliated by people. He wasn't saying it as a negative. He's saying this is why my prayers should get answered. Because I've rectified this part of me. I'm accepting all of the abuse from others and I'm taking it from you. This is the third final step. Now I looked up these worms. It's very interesting actually. I looked up these worms. Where the scarlet wool comes from, creepy stuff. It's these little tiny vermins, right? These little tiny worms. What happens is when the mother is going to give birth, she latches onto wherever she's holding onto. She's on it so tight, whatever, with her body. She latches onto that thing so tight that there's no way to remove her from it without completely ripping up her entire body. Okay? You cannot remove her from it. Now once she gives birth to her little baby vermins, what happens? How do they get sustenance? They eat their mother.
God.
Oh my God!
He just woke him up.
They eat. They eat.
She's giving birth to something knowing it's going to kill her, therefore she's killing her.
Yeah, or she just doesn't know about it because she's a worm. Right? She's like, oh, I love you guys. And all of a sudden, yeah! Hey, Johnny!
When they kill them, or like
as soon as they're born,
It tastes good.
they start to. I'm like, wow, you're tasting mighty fine these days, right? And then they just start eating her until she's completely disintegrated in their mouths. These are the worms. Yes. And then they do the same thing to their kids, and their kids eat them.
And they know that.
No, they don't know anything because they're worms. They don't have brains.
Just like humans.
Yes.
But they don't, what do you mean? I mean,
This is a kid. Such a kid.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, it's just the thing is that I like to do this when Rav Nachman brings down physical terms. I like to look into them because there is always a spiritual reality which is giving birth to that physical reality. Now notice we need the blood of that mother in order to purify. It's a very interesting thing, no? It's a very random thing to be getting. And it says that what happens is when the kids are eating the mother, the blood of the mother starts to spill out. And that's the blood they use for the scarlet wool. That's what we need.
but these are tiny little.
I know, but they're like these little fat bugs. Little chunky maggots. They got big bellies, and then they just like start spewing blood everywhere. Okay, good.
It came from hell. It's still out.
Yes. Okay. This is the concept of shchita, sreifa, and asifa. What are the three things that we need to do to this paraduma? We need to slaughter it, we need to burn it, and we need to gather it. Like it says with the paraduma shchita, that's the concept of bitul. Bitul of foolish beliefs, meaning too many beliefs. I believe in more than just Hashem, right? When you believe that it's not just Hashem is your doctor, but your doctor is your doctor. So then what happens? That's too many beliefs. You need to rectify that part of you.
Well, what if I believe that the doctor is the shliach?
That's fine.
That's still believing
You don't
that
believe
it's
the doctor, you believe the
You're
Hashem.
putting Hashem in everything. That's what you have to put it.
Not just that you're putting Hashem. Hashem is the. This thing is manifesting to me in the form of this doctor, but it's Hashem. It's just Hashem in another clothing. Everything is Hashem. As soon as you, for one moment, forget that this thing is Hashem, that's called a blemish of Emunah. Okay? You need to rectify this to get your prayers answered. Right? What type of prayers answered we're trying to get? We're trying to get mamish the paraduma, the Mashiach in our life. That takes away all negativity, all of our problems. So, the first step is shchita. We need to slaughter this. How do we slaughter this? Hibodadut. That's why it says, V'shachata setiv hamiku. They slaughtered by the wayward was even worse. Okay, we need to slaughter it. Second concept, we're going to get to questions in a second. Second concept is the burning. What's sreifa? It is the chizuk of the lave. Right? We need to strengthen the heart. How do we strengthen the heart? So it can contain the wisdom within it. We brought a pasuk earlier in Likutey Moharan. David Melech says, "Cham libi bekirbi." My heart is burning within me. Meaning what? He was feeling the taiva for sex.
That desire.
And my heart is burning within me. He was feeling the taiva for something. He was feeling taivas. So what did he do? The end of that pasuk is, I poured my heart out to Hashem. Rav Nachman says you learn out from this, right? That the only way to fix the taivas of the heart is through hibodadut. He says it mamash in a pasuk. It's explicit in a pasuk. So he's saying, Cham libi bekirbi. My heart is. So that's the concept of I'm learning Torah, but my heart is not pure. So as a result of that, I'm still getting angry, maybe even more so. I'm not able to fix this part of me yet. Why? Because the heart is not pure yet. My heart is hot within me. So what do I have to do? I have to go pray to Hashem. This is the concept of sreifa, the burning.
I mean, learning Torah causes more
It's not burning.
If you're not turning it into action, exactly. Very good.
It's not burning. It's hot.
Hot.
No, so let's say a person is in a bad place in his life, and the rabbi's going to tell him, go learn some Torah. By him learning more Torah, that might even cause more damage.
The Gemara says it. The Torah can either be a spice of life or a spice of death. Right? What happens to a Baal Tshuva? Again, the Gemara says the Torah can either be a spice.
Not your heart.
No, learning the Torah, but not the heart.
Yes. Right. Rav Nachman has a whole Torah about there's something called Jewish scholar demons. We never did it. It says it's the concept of a person that he's learning and he's not working on his heart. He ends up becoming what's called a Jewish Yehudi shade, a Jewish scholar demon. Whatever, it's a whole thing. We'll get into it one time. Yeah.
Maybe you explain to them, because we did a whole Torah on this, that it's not necessarily you have to do what it says in the Torah, that we learn that everything we learn, we should just also pray to help all my Torah to realize potential.
Right.
That's
The whole essence of Torah is to do it. right? Many people learn Torah as a hobby.
Are doing it by praying.
Yeah,
Sort of.
right. The essence of action is prayer, right? So turn it into a tefillah. But if you just learn, it can cause a lot of damage, right? There's a lot of people who learn all the time, and their relationship with their wife is terrible, right? They get divorced. Why? Because my wife is not supporting me learning all day and night. No, I'm not a good husband. Yeah, but she can keep up with me. Whatever
halachas she learns.
Yeah, whatever. All these things. So what are you lacking in? You're not lacking in your mind. You're lacking in your heart. Right, you're lacking in your heart. What's the last thing? Asifa, the gathering. What's the gathering? Gathering is always used for bitul, the bijna note, right? The people who are embarrassing me. I'm gathering up that humiliation. Like it said about Yosef, when Rachel gave birth to Yosef, Asaf Elokim et Charpati. What was his name, Yosef? Because he gathered up all my humiliation. Why? Because they all said to Rachel, you can't give birth. Your sister is giving birth every year, you're not doing anything. You're not giving birth to anything. So he gathered up all my humiliation. That's the simple understanding. But the deeper understanding is, why is he able to gather up all the humiliation, Yosef? Because the master of the bread. Meaning, where does humility... What?
What do you mean by gathering up all the humiliation?
Meaning, simply, everybody stopped embarrassing Rachel when she had Yosef. So therefore he's
stopped embarrassing.
Yeah, they stopped embarrassing. I'm not going to get humiliated. That's a simple understanding. Deeper understanding is, Yosef takes away the humiliation of the Jewish people.
I see what you're saying.
How does he take away the humiliation of the Jewish people? Because he is the gatherer of all averot, meaning he wipes away impurity. So he's the gatherer. That's the
fact that he took away the humiliation from his mom because he was the first kid, and after she gave birth to him, no more humiliation.
Right, but Rachel herself represents the Jewish people in general. So Yosef was the end of her humiliation, meaning the Jewish people's humiliation. Exile, Yosef. Right. So therefore, when you are getting humiliated by others and you accept it as coming from Hashem, you're tapping into Yosef. And this is the final step that you need to get your prayers answered.